Team USA beach handball athlete Grant Marocchi thought his dream of competing at the highest level was over after a life-changing car accident ended his volleyball career. But instead of giving up, he found a new path, one that led to him representing the United States on the world stage. In this episode, we talk about overcoming adversity, balancing a full-time job while training for Team USA, the sacrifices behind chasing an Olympic dream, and the mindset it takes to keep moving. I hope you enjoy this interview. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. I'm Christina Flach, and I'm too busy. When did sports become part of your identity?
That is a wonderful question. I would have to say sports became part of my identity when I was about 5 years old. My dad was big into watching and playing sports, and so he got me throwing balls, kicking balls, like anything that could get me active, he was getting me involved with it. So from a young age, I've been part of an identity of sports. So
So you were a very energetic child, is what you're telling me?
yeah, that energetic is a nice way. My mom might say it differently, but very energetic nonetheless. I was always moving. I needed to be up and going out and about with my family. It was one of those things my mom could never keep me still. And so they figured might as well throw them into some sports and make some good out of it.
That's great. Did you always dream about representing Team USA?
Funny enough, so growing up with sports, I didn't always dream about playing for Team USA until about later in my high school career, when my family and I sat down and we talked about what are my opportunities to play. Um, Once we started seeing what it took to be that next level, not gonna lie, we felt like it wasn't really going to be even an opportunity for me, let alone playing D1 sports, if even continuing on after high school. But around that senior year, towards the beginning of my college experience, there was a glimmer of hope, and my family started saying, "Hey, like, what if you actually started like committing a little bit more to this? How about if you start, looking at this sport as more than just a hobby? Like, what if you try to make a career out of this?" And ever since that moment of talking with my family, it's been a driver for me.
Who inspired you growing up?
Who inspired me? Well, I'm actually named after Grant Hill, the basketball player.
Oh,
Funny enough.
no way.
So when I was telling you that my dad's a big sports fanatic, that plays a big
Like
part in
that's real.
yeah, no, 100%. Um, yeah, I would say that Grant Hill was one of them. Uh, Funny enough, Tom Brady, I know there's controversy behind him, but growing up playing Madden NFL games, he was one of those athletes that just kind of stood out to me.
Right.
And then volleyball wise, I mean, it would have to be Max Holt or David Lee, both guys that were the positions I was playing in volleyball, but also guys that David Lee ended up attending Cal State Long Beach, same as me. So a little bit of a connection there as well.
You earned 5 national medals in volleyball. What did those years teach you about discipline?
Discipline is everything. Success comes from repetibility and also discipline. A big word we had at Long Beach was grit, because we believe that if you're willing to be gritty with it, if you're willing to be disciplined with what you have to do, the results will show. It's just a matter of time and how willing you are to be committed to it.
So let's go back a little bit. You had a major accident. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, not something I could have planned for with this accident. It was coming home from a volleyball tournament that I was helping coach. Was helping pick up a few of my buddies go play some open gym volleyball. Was on the freeway. Unexpectedly, someone fell asleep at the wheel, came into my lane and hit my car, and put me into about a year of recovery of not being able to play sports and having to deal with some head injuries and some other bodily injuries that put a little bit of a pause in my career.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine what that was like. Was the car was obviously completely totaled.
It was pretty banged up. Theirs was probably worse than ours. It wasn't a fun experience. And then coming out right after the accident, the recovery of it alone was an experience of it all. But I'm a firm believer that some doors get closed, the other ones can open.
And what do you feel opened after the accident?
Well, not only was I able to find a new sport that I thoroughly love, but I was able to join and participate with Team USA in the World Championships recently in Croatia, which if you'd asked me 3 years ago if that would have been the case, I probably would have told you you're kidding me. But I thought for sure my career was over after that accident. I thought it was going to be, just living I don't want to say normal life. I just want to say a different life because to me, athletics was everything. Living a different life than what I was expecting to live for a few more years. But here I am.
Thank goodness. What was your biggest accomplishment before the accident? And I guess what you just said was your biggest accomplishment after the accident.
Biggest before, so I did play for Cal State Long Beach, which we were ranked number one in the nation almost every single year that I was there playing. And they actually recently just won their national championship just a few years after I left. And prior to me arriving, they had won back to back. And so we were in a very good realm of high level volleyball going on there. And so we ended up with a second and third place trophy my junior and senior year there. And then afterwards was able to play in some national leagues for volleyball and earn those national championships as well in those. So it was a great time of being able to go and enjoy volleyball in a whole nother realm of um, competitiveness. I mean, end of the day, we were bred to be high level volleyball players at Long Beach, and it was great to continue playing that afterwards. And then that led into my professional career overseas in Europe. So between the medals and getting to go play overseas and do what I love, I mean, sounds like a dream to me.
How did you stay positive when everything you'd worked for suddenly felt so uncertain?
The love and support of my family and friends. Um, from the beginning of having to deal with finding the positivity behind it all, it was very difficult for me, emotionally, mentally, physically. Uh, it was waking up every day with vertigo and head injuries that didn't feel very good every single day, and trying to find ways to not only get my motor skills back, but also finding ways of understanding that I can still be who I am without the identity of sports, right? I think
Right.
that's a struggle some athletes deal with, and especially in my scenario where it was something I didn't choose, it was from a exterior circumstance. It was tough, but my family and my friends, they were there for me. There were many nights that, I'd call my mom crying of, I'm not sure if I can keep doing this. I'm not sure what's going on with how I'm feeling. I don't see why my recovery is not going faster, why me? It
Right.
turned
Like,
a
why is
very
this happening to me? It certainly
right.
didn't feel like it was happening for you.
No, it definitely did not. And so I had to have a lot of conversations with my family of, no, you are still who you are. You may not be playing the sports you were playing before, but you know what? There's still more to you than you should be expecting right now. And they were right. I mean, again, here I am sitting and talking with you about the wonderful opportunity I've been able to have since that.
You're so blessed to have such a supportive family.
No, I truly am. I couldn't be here without them.
How did beach handball come into your life?
Funny enough, beach handball showed up in my life because a coach messaged me on Instagram saying, "Hey, do you want to come try this sport?" And it wasn't even for beach handball. It was for indoor handball.
Okay.
And handball is massively popular overseas. And I'd seen it once or twice while I was in the Czech Republic and Italy playing volleyball, but did not really think it was a sport for me at the time. Now fast forward a few years after my car accident, and when the coach hit me up, I said, okay, like, why not try it? At this point, I'm not playing as much volleyball as I was before. My body doesn't feel the same. Maybe it's good to try something a little different and give my body a shot to try something new, right?
Right.
And so the USA coach for beach handball showed up to one of the practices for indoor. And one of my goalies, Brian Cook, love him to death. He also played for both teams, and he was ball of energy from the first time I met him. Like, dude, you got to come out and try beach handball. And I'm like, dude, no, I don't even know if I like handball yet. Like, let me just try this sport first, and then we'll go from there.
Right.
And he was like, dude, you're gonna love it, but totally get it. Like, respect it. Let's just let you learn the sport and go from there. So it was about 2 or 3 months of Brian and the coach, Michael Henson, coming back and forth and saying like, dude, you got to try it. Like, you're gonna love it. Like, it's just like beach volleyball. Like, you're gonna excel at it. We know you will. Just come try it. I said, no, no, no. And finally in January, played about 3 months, got a couple tournaments under my belt with indoor. And Brian goes, dude, you need to come to beach handball. And I said, Brian, you've asked 6, 8, 10 times, however many times you've asked. Let's do it. All right, full send. So I show up and again, was not expecting anything of it. I was just gonna go try it, give it some reps, see how I feel. I mean, imagine soccer, basketball, and volleyball combined all into one sport on the sand. Like that's what this sport is. Um, and so went out and tried it. And 2 or 3 weeks later, I've only been to 2 or 3 practices. They go, hey, we're having a USA tryout. You want to come try out? I was like, sure, why not? There's
Why
no,
not? What do I have to
yeah,
lose at this point?
exactly. There's no one going to make this team. Let's just go and try it out. Same way. Well, 60 guys show up to this tryout. And I'm standing there, I'm like, dude, all right, there's really no way I'm going to make this team. Like, we have 10 spots on the team. Um, the way beach handball works is typically with sports like basketball, soccer, like you're running up and down the field
Hmm.
playing both offense and defense. Well, in beach, it's very difficult to do that for the sustained amount of time you do for the duration of the game.
Hmm.
So you typically play just defense or just offense, and goalies will be just goalies or the specialist who is you know, wearing a different colored jersey. They're set to their position typically. And it's nice to have someone that can do both, but you usually never running up and down the court. You're running off the field for substitutions and stuff like that. So not only was I putting myself into a smaller, criteria to fit, because now I have to either be very good at defense or very good at offense. It's not something I could be like, oh, we can sub you off and hopefully it's no, you got to be good at your skill set that you're going to be called for. So I tried out and ended up getting like 2 or 3 blocks on some of the starting team members for Team USA. And they came up to me after the first session saying, Grant, we've never seen anyone block someone like that, like for their first or second time of trying the sport. Like nobody does that. Like, where did you come from? Like, what is your background? What have you been doing?
Right, right, right.
Like what? And I was like, hey, look, like I've played volleyball before. Like, I'm just thinking of it instead of going vertically with volleyball, we're going horizontally with handball. Because handball, to explain a little bit, there is a 6 meter line
Hmm.
that we're allowed to jump over to contest the offense with. And so when they saw the 6'8", you know, high flying boy coming through, and they're like, "Hey, why don't we just put him on defense?" And they threw me on defense, and we've just ran with it since. And that first tryout, the coach says, "Look, if you're committed, we're committed to you, but this is going to be a process, and you need to come to every single practice. We've got a tournament in 3 months for the Intercontinentals. Our team has never lost a game in the Intercontinentals." So if you're
Wow,
coming,
that's a lot of pressure.
right? I was like, okay, cool. Like this is my second month playing this sport, and you're telling me all this. Cool. Okay. Like I'm committed. Like let's see where this goes. And a week later, they announced the team, and I was on that roster.
That is remarkable. I mean, you must have been in such shock. I mean, obviously, having played another competitive sport, do you feel that your skill set with volleyball really took you to that level so quickly?
100%. The mentality is almost exactly the same, or the mindset of what you need to be able to do to compete. Um, it transferred over perfectly. Now, the actual physical talent skill sets that you need to do to play the sport, that took me a couple months. And even in the first tournament that we played in for the Intercontinentals, it was a learning curve for sure. I had a few headaches from coaches teaching you new plays on the fly and trying to understand
Right.
what to read for the offense and the defense. But other than that, it's like riding a bike again. That was the first time for me.
Oh,
And I'm
that
gonna
must
give
have felt so good.
it was one of those where
You
I
didn't
got
think
on
you
my
were going to feel that again, I'm sure.
no, 100%. It was. a lost part of me that I was like, I may never feel this again. And at that time, I was a little bit more, I had accepted the fact that my career with sports might be done at that time. Because again, I was trying
Wow.
handball just for fun. I was like, you know what? Me and my wife were talking about it. She was saying, look, like you're still the person you were before the car accident. It's just you don't have sports in it. Like it's okay. Just go enjoy and have some fun with this again. Try something different. Um, but when I stepped on that field for the first time with Team USA, there was a spark in me that just reignited. And it was something I hadn't felt for years. And it felt absolutely amazing just to have Team USA on my chest, like we said, like it was a dream that didn't start as a dream, but then grew into something and then was taken away by the car accident. And we felt like, all right, maybe this isn't the route we should still be going. And then to come all the way back and have a full closure of the circle with, I mean, I can't be more grateful for that.
It's so easy for people to tell you like, "Oh, you're still the same person and you can move on." It isn't the same. And I don't
No,
even think it's fair. I know there people are trying to make you feel better, but it isn't the same. And sometimes you have to just go, "You know what? It isn't, and this just sucks, and it's not fair." How did that feel the first time once you made, Team USA to hear the national anthem representing your country? What was that like?
I started tearing
You
up.
didn't think you were going to hear it again, I'm sure.
No, and we heard it so many times for volleyball in Long Beach. We had it play before every game, and it brought back so many memories of times of joy, frustration, everything that happens on a court. You're like, this is why I love being an athlete because there's so many decisions you got to make on the fly. It brought all of that back again, and to have Team USA on my chest as well, hearing that national anthem. I
Wow.
mean, it was a fantastic experience. It brought so many great emotions to me of just being able to say, this is why I'm here. I'm here to represent my country. It was an emotional moment for me for sure.
And I'm sure that I'm sure it always meant a lot to you, but after the accident and the rehab and everything you went through, I'm sure it means more to you than it ever did before.
100%. It meant the world to me, especially so when we played in the Continentals and we're standing there for the championship game, it was it was incredible. I was looking at so many past experiences flash right before my eyes, and here I am standing outside the United States, representing the United States, saying I'm about to play for a gold medal that will put us into the World Championships if we win this game.
Wow.
Um, and eh, I would not trade that moment for anything in my entire life.
My next question, and maybe this is, you've already answered it. Was there a moment competing internationally that you'll never forget? Was that the moment?
Funny enough, so I would say that's my first moment. But the biggest one I think would have to be when we played Italy in the World Championships this past week. We had a fantastic comeback after being down and ended up having to go for a buzzer beater shot. And we had to lock down our defense. And my position, we call strong side defense, where I'll typically take two offensive players under my belt, and while the other two guys will focus on the specialist and the center back position. They had to switch me to the weak side defense because that side was scoring so many times. We needed to shut that down. And so we switched it up, moved the positions. This is where the Intercontinentals played a big part in this World Championship, where we had prepared for this at the first um, regional tournament. And once we got onto the main court, the big screen with this tournament World Championships in Croatia, it was game time, and we had to turn it on. We were tooth and nail throwing punches back and forth with Italy, and we ended up coming up on top with the last second with our captain Cody shooting from almost half court and getting it right past two defenders and a goalie. I think that was one of the coolest moments of my life of being able to feel that energy of we are here to win this, and we are on the road of not just beating these teams that we're expected to beat. This was a team that we weren't expected to beat at all. This was supposed to be
Wow, how exciting.
a big moment for all of us. So it was a fantastic experience to have that happen at that level as well.
What's one piece of advice you'd give someone who feels that it's too late to chase their dream?
My one piece of advice for anyone that's looking, it's a great question because looking back on my experience with my car accident, my one piece of advice would be believe in yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you believe in yourself, if you have that support that you can go in and handle whatever's put in front of you, um, I firmly believe that that opens up doors to things you may not even realize were going to be important to you. Like I said before with beach handball, I never thought I'd be playing handball my entire life, even before the car accident, let alone playing for Team USA on top of that. I mean, I had to believe in myself, and my family, my friends helped me with that, but that's what it came down to was, am I believing in myself? If I believe in myself, I can do it, then go get it.
Right.
Don't,
I mean, once
don't.
you tell yourself you've decided, professional athletes, my husband was a professional athlete. He was a former number one tennis player in the world. Professional athletes think differently than the average person. The way you think, that's why I mentioned earlier, it's really easy for someone to say you're still the same person. No, you're not. You're a different breed of human. That's what makes you so extraordinary. How many people, many people don't realize Olympic hopefuls um, aren't financially supported. Can you explain what it's really like to fund an Olympic dream?
That's a great question. How to fund an Olympic dream. That's where I think a lot of the discipline you were talking about earlier comes into play. Because unlike in college, where my job was to show up to practice, play, do well, go to class, go home, eat, take care of myself.
Right.
You're now adding in the factor of Team USA is able to help support to a certain level of things. The higher the level of the tournament, the more they can kind of provide. But to get that
Hmm.
ball started, we're talking about funding everything yourself for practices, housing, stuff like that, you're required to have a job on the side while doing it and being able to
I
manage
mean, you already have a job. To add a job, I can't even imagine.
it. It's
Like,
not easy.
how do you fit that in? And what is your other job?
So I'm actually an account manager for industrial sales. The boss that hired me was an ex D1 athlete, and
Mm,
he was big on, like you said, that discipline side of it. He understands and understood that athletes have that discipline and wanted to hire like-minded individuals for his company.
hmm
And so he wanted people that were driven, people that were aware and wanting to grow. Like growth is a big part of, any kind of company wants someone who's wanting to grow the company, grow the business, grow
hmm
relationships. So balancing that on top of balancing my schedule with sports. Let's just say my wife wasn't the most happy for the past couple months because I was gone every single weekend doing something. She was
Right,
very love her to death. She was super supportive. She did everything she could have to just help me, but it's a commitment. And
right.
and unfortunately, it's one of those that it would be fantastic to have the support that we could as an Olympic athlete, as a Team USA athlete. But the reality is that's not the case. The reality is we have to have day jobs that help provide for the daily needs that we have. And then once we go to the tournaments, Team USA does help with that. But above that, you're kind of on your own.
Do you have any sponsors?
Currently, no. I did have sponsors when I was playing volleyball.
Hmm.
And that was kind of the frustrating part as well when I got in the car accident was um, sponsorships can come and go very quickly, even if it's something not your fault. And our team has now started to grow with some sponsorships, and that's been a big help for us. But it's not to the level that we need to be the level of athletics that we think we can be because we have to have a full-time job. We have to divide our energy in different ways because it's just what's required for this.
Who are you outside of your sport?
Who am I outside of the sport? Um, I am the 6'8" goofball that family kids love being around. I mean, it's one of those of I enjoy going out on the weekends with my friends and going fishing. I love spending time with my wife and my family. That was a big part of me growing up is most of my friends were my cousins and other family members coming over and hanging out, and then
Right.
having my friends on top of that too. Um, and then just having fun with sports. I know I play competitively, but I always love going out with my father-in-law and having a good basketball game. Or my grandpa's 80, 82, and he still plays basketball 3 to 5 times a week in the mornings. And
I
so,
love that.
yeah, a big family event we'll do is they call us the Fab Five. Me, my cousins, my uncles will come out with my grandpa, and we'll go run the basketball court for a little bit, and just have some fun with that.
What's something, what is something that people would be surprised to learn about you?
Something surprising about myself. I think a big one is I'm fluent in Italian.
Very
So
impressive.
with my last name and my originality coming from Italy, my family did not know the language. When my family immigrated over, my ancestors cut it off and they spoke only English. And so I
Hmm.
was able to go back. And when I returned to Italy, um, I was able to learn the language and bring that back. And so that's a very cool and emotional thing I hold close to my heart because that was something my family did not have growing up. And I'm super excited to bring that back into my life. Um, but also, I'm an Eagle Scout. I was big on going outdoors and being part of nature and learning how to use my hands and building stuff. So I attribute a lot of what I had growing up with Boy Scouts and just the mindset of sports that helped get to me to where I am today.
Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Uh, the ego says world champion and Olympian gold medal, but
Hmm.
reality is, I see myself in 5 years continuing with this Team USA and continue to grow with the team, um, and trying to rebuild this idea that sports can continue on after college, and there are ways to still be included with the community with these things. I think one thing I'm really striving for right now is finding ways to give back to the community as best as I can through athletics, through coaching, things like that. So that way, kids that have situations similar to mine, whether it's upbringing, accidents, injuries, whatever it is, them learning for what we're talking about today of just because something stops doesn't mean it's the end of it. It just means you might have to take a different route for it, or there might be other things that are available for you that might be better than what you expected. And so that's my big goal in the next 5 years. Medals all aside, how can I give back so that way people can also learn from the experiences I had as well?
What goes through your mind right before a competition begins?
What goes through my mind right before competition? Everything we've trained and studied for on that team. A big part of it, I will say, is that Mamba mentality of ain't no way you're better than me. Like we're going out to this and we're gonna have some fun. Like if we're
Right.
gonna be in a scrap fight, we're getting ready for it. And so I would say a lot of those mind that goes through my mind of, all right, are you actually better than me, or are you just saying you're better than me? Let's prove it now. I think that's the most driven part of my mindset is going into the games is that.
How many hours a week are you training and what does a typical day look like for you?
It's a great question. Typically, we're weight training every single day. Our
7 days a
coach
week?
typically five, and then we'll train on the weekends. Some guys will do 7 days a week. The reason for that is being in the sand, being in the sun, we really have to train for some extreme environments that traditionally, like teams like basketball, they don't have to worry about the sun or the wind or things like that. When we play, we've got an uneven surface, we've got to be fast paced, high decision making, all the while still getting sandy and all these other elements being involved. So our coaches push really hard for us to be 5 days a week training, lifting. And then when we're having opportunities to be on the sand, we're going out and we're spending anywhere from 4 to 8 hours on the sand. Some weeks it's only 3 or 4 days, depending on guys' schedules with work and whatnot. But there's also some days where we'll get in as many as we can for the week because we got to get ready for the World Championships. So again, going back to your comment about having a day job and that support, um, sometimes you got to find that balance between work and this life, and so that's part of the gig.
What do most people underestimate about Olympic athletes, do you think?
How much we can eat. I think you'd be
Right?
very, very surprised on how many platters of food we had sitting at the table. And whenever we go out to dinners, I think our coach realizes that this isn't eating for a normal family. This is a lot of grown men eating a lot of plates of
Right.
food. Um, again, I say that jokingly, of course, but it's something funny that we always sit down and we watch and we're like, we have three plates of food and our family members are sitting there with one plate of food and we're like, we had three games today. We're hungry. So
What sacrifices have you made that people never see?
the sacrifices I've made, my wife would be more than happy to answer that one.
I know, I need to have her on.
I know you would love her. She is a fantastic woman and she knows how to talk the talk sometimes. That's why I married her.
Was she an
But
athlete?
she played at University of Hawaii for both beach and indoor volleyball. And then went back to school when we started dating to earn her master's degree, and ended up becoming the state champion for her school. Um, and then went on the nationals and had the first national appearance for that school because of her appearance with them playing.
Wow.
And now she's
Well, then she
currently
gets it. I think at least it's not like a normal civilian that isn't an athlete because
no,
I
no.
think it would be really hard, to be with someone that really didn't understand the sacrifice of an athlete.
100%. Like I said, she's been a great support for me this entire time. It's one of those of like I couldn't be here without her. But at the same time, she is an athlete and she is a competitor. And so if I'm slacking on something, she's telling me you need to step it up. She's that rock of it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. Like when the storm's coming, you got to be ready for it.
Right.
So she's definitely, I think, made the most sacrifice out of all this because, like I said, a lot of my weekends we're talking about trips with families and stuff like that to be prepared for me to go in Croatia for the World Championships. She was the one that felt it the most, I think. She had to take a lot of time and getting things prepared for me, waking up early to take me to the airport, just some of the smaller details that people don't really see, like you said, but me and her feel on a day-to-day basis. And um, I can't be more grateful for her for doing everything that she did for me.
We're going to do some rapid fire. You ready?
Great
Okay. Coffee or energy drink?
energy drink.
Where's your happy place?
Where is my happy place? The beach.
What do you do when your day isn't flowing?
What do I do on my days of flowing? Throw on some music and just relax a little bit, enjoy the sun.
Morning workouts, evening workouts, or both? I would
Evening
imagine
workouts.
sometimes it's both.
Sometimes it's both. I would say evenings though. That's how we did it in college. That's how we did it in Europe for my professional volleyball, and so I just continue that going on for me.
Beach or indoor?
Don't do that to me.
Ah!
Don't do that to me.
You can love both. You can love something about one of each. You can do that. Absolutely.
Okay. Are you asking about handball or volleyball?
Let's do both.
Both? Okay. This was the response I always gave people for volleyball. Both of them, I love both. But for volleyball, I love competing indoor at a high level, and I enjoyed beach as like an off-season training. If that makes any sense. It was
No, it
something.
does because I think they're so, I mean, I've never played volleyball other than in PE, but I would imagine it is so much harder in the sand.
It, especially with only two people, but you have so much more control over the play versus indoor. You can pass the ball great every single play, and your setter can mess something up, your hitter can mess something up, blocks can do something that messes up. You can play a fantastic game versus beach. You've got to know how to set, hit, pass, all the above and more. So it's such a different dynamic to the game, but it adds so much of a different feel that I really do enjoy it on the side of, hey, I just spent 8 months playing indoor volleyball. Let's go spend some time outside, get some reps with that, change the mindset a little bit to
Right.
just get a different way of playing it.
Who is your favorite Olympic athlete? You can say a couple if there are.
No, for sure. Again, it's got to be Max Holt or David Lee. Those guys were the ones I watched growing up for volleyball and saying, this is the guy, this is the style of play I want to play. This is the guy I want to replicate. Funny enough, the coaches gave me David Lee's number that he had at Long Beach State. I had the same number as him.
Oh, wow.
Met David Lee at one of the AVP Opens and was able to take a photo with him. And so I guess David Lee would be the top one for me. And funny enough, I'll play against him at the beach sometimes now because he lives here in Southern California. And it's funny to think of the time that I shook his hand. He won't remember it for the life of him, but I remember it. And I'm like, the fact that I'm here playing against you now, again, just like with the Team USA with handball, never would have expected in a million years to be in this. So
You're 6'8". I think he'd remember you.
you got to remember though, they meet a lot of people, so it's one of those of, I was a little bit skinnier back then too, and not 6'8" at that time when I met him. So, things change, but I can say hi to him now and he'll remember my name. So,
What is your favorite sports movie?
oh, sports movie. I enjoy Miracle. That's a classic with the hockey team. I really do look back on that of that underdog mindset of we're going into this, we're going to give it our all, and what happens, happens, and we're going to be okay with that. But I feel like it matches a lot of my mindset of if I train hard enough and I do it well enough, I know I can compete at that next level to win that game that needs to be won. So I resonate with that movie a lot.
What's your favorite cheat meal?
Sushi,
I don't know if that's
100%.
really a cheat meal. Is
I,
that a cheat? Because
all
the,
right.
the rice? I'm talking pizza, a greasy hamburger.
See, and I'm Italian though, so pizza just sounds like a normal meal to me.
That's true.
So I would say there was one that a coworker brought in. It was a ghost pepper macaroni and cheese.
Oh,
That was just enough kick of spice that wasn't going to burn your mouth, but it, made you sweat a little bit. I
yeah,
think that's one of my favorite meals to go to. If you want an actual like cheat meal, lasagna. Lasagna through and
yeah,
through. I'm
right.
telling
I
you,
agree. That's probably mine too. Music before competition.
100%.
And you have a playlist of songs, like what's on that playlist?
That's usually going to be some Ozzy Osbourne on there, some AC/DC, I'd say some heavier rock. I've got some teammates who love listening to Andrea Bocelli or Celine Dion, some classical stuff.
Something
I'm like,
so random.
right? I couldn't believe it when I heard they let me take one of the earpods. I was like, oh, that's completely different than what I listen to, but it works for them.
Hey, you do you. If it works, keep on it.
Exactly right. So I'm not one to judge. I'm sure they think the same thing about my music. So
What's always in your gym bag?
always in my gym bag. Funny enough, this has been my go-to for recovery and stuff, glute activation. And K bands just basically go around your knees. They're like your typical resistant bands that you can think of.
Hmm.
But they have individual straps that you can unattach or change different resistance with. So instead of just having one resistance across the entire band, I could have a stronger one in the front and weaker one in the back. So that way I get more of a quad workout
Hmm.
rather than a glute. Or if I want both, I can have both. One of my teammates told me about those a few years back. Didn't believe him, tried it a couple times, and they've never left my bag since.
Wow. 3 words that your teammates would use to describe you.
3 words my teammates use to describe me. Um, Tall. For whatever reason, we always get worked up on me being so tall. We'll walk around. And
How
I don't know
tall are the
why.
rest of your teammates? Like, what's the average height of most of your teammates?
So volleyball, I'm short.
What? What are they?
So
7'4"?
there are guys that are 6'10", 7 feet tall. Some of them can move very quickly, just as much as I
Wow.
can. And so it's one of those of our libero for volleyball is usually very short, but that's one player, and usually the other players are decently tall. So maybe saying small is the wrong word. I'm average for volleyball. But
Okay.
for beach handball, I'm considered tall. And not only am I tall, but athletic is another big word they use a lot because um, you got to be able to move in the sand. And so
Hmm.
being able to have that agility and understanding of how to make my body move and not just be a 7 foot tall, but very bulky dude that's great for basketball, but not so much in the sand. The third one, man, they'd probably call me a Star Wars nerd. I'm a huge, you want to talk about something that you never expect from someone? Freaking love Star Wars to death. It was my favorite movie growing up. It's still my favorite
Oh,
still
funny.
today. So they would probably call me a Star Wars nerd because they'll bring up something about the lore of Star Wars, like, oh man, you hear, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know everything about that scene. Actually, let me give
I
you some
know all
background.
that.
Yeah, and more. So I'd say those three are probably the big ones.
Where's your dream vacation?
Dream vacation, Italy. Actually, take that back. Italy will always have a place in my heart, but me and my wife have been talking so much about going to Japan. I think Japan, funny enough, I think we were talking about one day, and I was like, man, I'd just love to go to Japan one day. She's like, no way. I'd love to go there as well. Like, it was one of those things we didn't plan it. We weren't like trying to talk it through, spur of the moment. And so we're actually thinking about going within this next year of trying to get over there and see it for the first time.
Oh, that's great. Favorite city you've competed in?
Favorite city, I would say Croatia. I think that first World Championships with Team USA will always have a special place in my heart. Croatia was also a beautiful city. I had a great time over there. It was such a great experience and vibe to have there. I think it will always have a place in my heart as number one.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs. Funny enough, my wife had both when we first started dating, and the cat acted exactly like a dog, so I gotta say like a dog. Because
Favorite workout?
favorite workout, power cleans. Explosive work. That I love powerlifting, but power cleans has been one of the few weight training exercises I've been able to do from volleyball and beach handball that's been just as beneficial for me.
Most difficult workout?
Most difficult workout. You saying just experience wise or like in general?
In general.
In general. Okay. Most difficult workout for me, running. I do not like running at all. And that's the one thing my wife makes me do.
Uh, One thing you can't live without.
One thing I can't live without. Ooh, that's a great question. Um, I would have to say my swim trunks. I
Hmm.
think that's the one thing I'm always wearing, whether I'm going to the beach, going to practice, like even if it's for indoor, going around, I'm usually wearing swim trunks. That way I can hop in the water afterwards. Like I said, the beach is one of my favorite places to be. I coached on the beach for a long time, and so it's just being out, being able to be, in that environment with my swim trunks. I think swim trunks would be up there.
Do you have a hidden talent?
Hidden talent. I'm sure I do. Okay, I guess I will say this. So my mom had me learn to play the piano growing up, and then I self-taught myself how to play the guitar. And
Wow.
my grandma was kind enough to give me some lessons. But those are two things I don't think people would usually expect of me, but that's something I will fall back on from having in my childhood and continuing on afterwards.
Do you have a favorite quote?
That is a great question. I'd have to look it up on I have like a whole list of quotes on my phone that I know I absolutely love. I would have to say a mantra for myself. I won't say I have a favorite quote, but it's why not? Why not go play for Team USA? Why not go
Right.
do something different? Why not, see what it has to offer? I think that would be my biggest thing or mantra quote, if you want to call it, for myself is why not?
Who is one athlete you'd love to meet? Alive or
One
dead?
alive or dead? I think Michael Jordan.
Mm,
I loved watching
that's a
his
good
Last
one.
Dance documentary.
Yeah,
I
that was
enjoy some of his
fantastic.
It was, and his mindset going through it all. I love the t style of team play he had with his teammates. As tough as he might have been on some of the guys sometimes, like it was great to see what that level of excellence is supposed to be like, and trying to. I'd love to pick his brain at some point and be like, "Hey, tell me more about this. What was the
Yeah.
experience like? What can I learn from you?" Like, I feel like that would just be a great opportunity to have.
Gold medal or world record?
I'm about team, so gold medal all day. As much as I love having accolades for myself, I think they're great to fight for. But at the end of the day, I firmly believe great teammates make great teams, and I'd rather win a gold medal all day through and through with my brothers, than go home and say, "Yeah, I'm the top player of the world, but we got last place." Whatever it is, I, my goal is to go and win with my brothers, and I'd say gold medal all day.
My husband had won Wimbledon and was on the Davis Cup team, and he won the first gold medal in tennis in Seoul. And he would always say, my son used to call his like these toys he had his guys. So he would
Yeah,
always call his gold medal his main guy because everyone would ask him like, what meant more to you, winning Wimbledon or the gold medal? And he'd be always like, the gold medal. It's like
yeah,
once every 4 years. Like, not
right.
many, there's a lot of people that have won Wimbledon, but there's not a lot of people that have won a gold medal. So
No,
yeah,
100%.
I totally get that. If you weren't an athlete, what would you be?
Ooh, my wife might disagree with this, but a cook. A
Really?
chef. Yeah. Ever since I lived in Italy and was able to make a few Italian dishes for myself, I've been getting more and more into it at home. My wife makes me the barbecue master, so I'm in charge of cooking all the meats when we have people over. So
Cool.
I would say definitely being a chef. I think it has to do with the athleticism of being creative and being
Uh-huh.
able to make something people enjoy. I think there's a
Right.
strong correlation between the two, so I'd say that.
When life gets overwhelming, what reminds you that your dream is still worth chasing?
My wife, my family, the support I was telling you about before,
Right.
they play a massive role in my remembrance of what I play for. Um, the My mom's told me multiple times, my wife has told me as well. I might get teary-eyed during this, so I apologize if I do,
Oh,
but
no.
it's they always tell me there's this light they see in me when I am competing at that high of a level, that when they're able to see me just play, right?
Right.
No worries about what's going on outside of the court, no worries about stuff going on at home. It's I am there playing, and I mean, the day I got called up for the World Championships for Team USA, my wife bought all this Team USA gear. She's like, "I'm wearing this. I'm telling everyone at my work that my husband's doing this right now. Like,
Oh,
go get him." And my family's been doing that ever since. And it's just one of those of, is it difficult? Yes. Is there times I have to make sacrifices? Yes. Is there stress with work and having to balance both those? Yes. But being able to compete and just be myself is something I wouldn't trade for it. And I my family sees that as well, and so I got to give them a big shout out for that, that they're that rock for me when
yeah,
times
they're
get so
everything.
tough.
And I think especially after going through what you went through with the accident and everything, I mean, we spoke about this earlier, of how much this means to you because it was almost taken away completely and not and on anything that you had done. But and that's a really hard thing I would imagine to process. Like, how dare you take that away from me?
Mhm.
Like that person, I'm sure, they fell asleep and I know it wasn't intentional, but God, how crazy is the universe that like in that exact instance, everything that they collided. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
bananas.
100. It was, like I said before, super difficult not to internalize it, but more than grateful for the opportunity to learn that it's not all about what happens in that moment. Sometimes, like you said, it's completely out of your control.
Right.
And
There's nothing
I
you can
think,
do.
no. And so being able to accept that was difficult, but I think it prepared me even more for what was going to come next, because without that experience, I never would have found handball, and I never would have found Team USA. And so, again, crazy how it works, but hindsight wise, like again, wouldn't change it for anything in the world.
What have I not asked you that you'd like to share today?
What have you not asked me? Man, it's a good question. I mean, guess the biggest one is how many sports have I played?
Ah, that is a good one. I should have asked that.
Yeah.
So, what is the
So
answer to that?
one, two. So basketball, volleyball, football, soccer, baseball, handball, tennis, badminton, lacrosse. I haven't done hockey. I think hockey's one
That's
of the
the
few
one
sports.
thing you haven't done. And horse
Yeah.
racing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, anything with another
Anything
like
with a
game.
ball.
Yeah, anything with the ball, I'm there.
Baseball. Baseball?
Baseball, no, yeah. I
Okay.
was TOC champion growing up.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Is there anything else you'd like to share, Grant?
no, thank you so much for the time, Christina, today. Like
Oh my
really appreciate
gosh.
it.
Thank you. I wish you and your teammates all the best. I'm going to be following your career. I'm so excited for you. And thank you for being here today. It was
Thank
such a
you so much.
pleasure.
No,
Thank
pleasure's all
you.
mine.
Take care. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
I'm Christina Flach. I'm too busy. I'll see you next week.